Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a lovely Omega Speedmaster 57. This is a watch that debuted in the form you see here back in 2013 at Basel World. In stainless steel, it's 41.5 millimeters in diameter, it's 16.1 millimeters thick, it's 50 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, but if you add the end links of the bracelet, the total distance across the wrist is 53.8 millimeters with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you get a sense of the fit. It's surprisingly broad across the wrist, which is why I'm going to recommend this watch for a wrist no smaller than 15 centimeters in circumference. It's also a fairly thick watch, so it's not going to disappear under a dress cuff. Though the look is somewhat nostalgic, it's very much a modern sports watch, and that includes the dimensions. Taking a quick look at the bracelet, we have a bracelet that includes a conforming end link for a more integrated look than a straight bar would produce. We have polished centers, we have polished outer faces, we have satin shoulders, and of course we have removable links fixed by screws. You can see we have a half link built in there for fine-tuning the size, and then we have a double fold, sequential fold, twin trigger release clasp. Now let me show you some of the features in here. You must press both triggers to pop it open. It cannot accidentally pop open. You can see the use of spring-loaded ceramic pin snaps, so over time the steel cannot aggress against the pin snap. Ceramic will not be worn down by steel, so this will remain its tight tolerances as manufactured. And of course, we have a sequential close, which means one side closes before the other. The Omega logo closes second. Jumping back to the case, one of the reasons this is described as a 57 is because it includes a lot of vintage elements that recall the original CK2915, the first of the Speedmasters. So we have a squared off lug profile, minimal beveling, no crown guards or shear protection, so we don't have that asymmetrical case that we associate with the Speedmaster Professional. We also don't have the lyre-style lugs. We have satin on the flanks, we have a little bit of beveling on the edge, and then polish on the lug hood, but no crown guards, no lyre-style lugs, and of course the watch includes a bezel that is satinated on its top and then polished on its outer flank and its bottom side. We have vintage-inspired pump-style pushers. We have a generously domed sapphire that's designed to read as a vintage plexiglass, and a blue metallic sunburst dial with sunken sub-registers. It's a vintage dual-register look, but it's a three-register chronos. We have chrono seconds, then coaxial at 3 o'clock, chrono minutes, and chrono hours. The watch has a applique logo and all applique Omega hour indices, which are graced by superluminova. And note that the chronograph sub-registers are loomed. Also important, we have alpha-style hands for the hours and the minutes, and for the constant second sub-register, and these are themselves little nods to that original 1957 Speedmaster CK2915. Turning it all over, you can see that we have caliber 9300. What's fascinating is that the sapphire on the back of the case is almost as dramatically domed as the sapphire on the front. This is in order to clear the height of the movement. Now, the watch is 100 meters water resistant, which gives it a big leg up on something like a moon watch, which at 50 meters is the kind of watch you ordinarily don't feel comfortable taking for a swim. This watch with 100-meter water resistance is designed to be used for swimming. The movement has 2 barrels and a 60-hour power reserve, bidirectional automatic winding, and thanks to the twin barrels, it doesn't have the big drop-off and balance amplitude that you typically get on a single barrel movement after, say, 24 hours. We have a column wheel for the chronograph's operation, and you can see it in operation through a skeletonization in the bridge above it. It makes for a crisp feel. We also have a vertical clutch, which means the chronograph starts without any extraneous movement. It doesn't jump forward a second and a half like a lateral clutch would. The vertical clutch also allows you to keep the chronograph running full time if you prefer to have a constantly running center second hand. There's no additional wear and tear or danger if you have a vertical clutch chrono. Now we have a hour hand that can be moved independently of the rest of the dial. Note even the chrono keeps operating. I can drive the date forward and backwards depending on which direction I am traveling internationally. This is a feature for world travelers, and of course I pull the crown out all the way, hacking seconds. Now I can set to a reference time. Caliber 9300 is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer. It pivots on 54 joules, and it beats away at 25,200 vibrations per hour, which is a special swatch group wide beat rate for silicon hairsprings. And it's because of that silicon hairspring and an anti-magnetic escapement that this watch is resistant to an extraordinary degree of magnetic flux, and the timepiece also features a lot of shock tolerance thanks to a full balance bridge with a free-sprung balance and a winding rotor that uses a ball bearing rather than a jeweled staff. We have arabesque spiral Côte de Genève across the rotor and the bridges, and then we have both black polished and actual blackened screws. Finally, we have George Daniels' great invention, the coaxial escapement, a direct and indirect impulse, tangential contact, low friction escapement that improves power reserve, reduces maintenance requirements, and improves chronometric precision. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.